So now that you've got this set up for completing the square, let's look at actually doing the calculations. So in this video, we're going to start with the easier version of completing the square. That's when you do not have a number in front of x squared. So what we're going to do is, what completing the square means is we're going to take this expression right here and add to it what we would need in order to make this a perfect square trinomial. Now if we add something to the right side, we've got to also add it to the left side. So we're going to have to add something to both sides here. If we only add it to the right side, then we no longer have a balanced equation. Alright, so we're going to do here just what we did up here. So we have x squared plus 18x plus something. Now to turn this into a perfect square trinomial, what we're going to need to do is take this middle number and cut it in half. That's 9. Square that, and we get 81. So we want to add 81 in order to turn this into a perfect square trinomial. Now that we have a perfect square trinomial here, we can factor it. So that's going to be x plus 9 squared. So what we've done is we've added 81 here so that we will be able to factor it to get something like this. Then on the right side, the left side, 81 plus 0 is 81. And now we can take the square root and solve. So we get x plus 9 on the right side, and then plus or minus 81 on the left side. So then what we want to do is split this into the two equations that are really here. So one of the equations says that positive 81 equals x plus 9, and the other equation says that negative 81 is equal to x plus 9. Oh, not 81. We took the square root. This should be 9. So this is then positive 9 or negative 9. Let me rewrite this one. Negative 9 is equal to x plus 9. Alright, then we can solve these by subtracting 9 from both sides. So we get 0 is equal to x. Or if we subtract 9 from both sides here, we get negative 18 is equal to x. So those are the two solutions to this equation. Now let's look at something like this at the top of the page here. So 0 is equal to x squared minus 12x plus 4. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's just get rid of this plus 4. We don't want that over here. Let's just move it over to the other side, because what we're going to do is complete the square on this piece right here, x squared minus 12x. So that plus 4 is just getting in our way. So let's get rid of that. Let's move it over to the other side. So x squared minus 12x, and then we want to add something to this that will complete the square. Now if we add it to the right side, we also need to add it to the left side. So we've got to keep that equation balanced. So to figure out what we need to add, we're going to take the middle number, cut it in half, that's negative 6, square that, that's 36, and so what we need to do is add 36 to both sides of the equation. Then on the right side, x squared minus 12x plus 36, that will factor to be x minus 6 squared. And then on the right side, 36 minus 4, that's 32. And then we can solve this by taking the square root of both sides. So that's going to leave us with plus or minus the square root of 32. And then we also have x minus 6 on the other side. Now we could separate this into two different equations and solve as we've done before. But I'm going to show you a little shortcut for this one. So we could add 6 to both sides, and we could leave this just as 6 plus or minus the square root of 32 is equal to x. And then we can reduce that radical. So this, well, I guess we can split into, say, 16 and 2. 16 can be split into 4 and 4. Let me show you another shortcut here, actually. So normally we would split this down as far as we can go. So we'd split the 4s into 2s, but actually since we've got a pair here, let's just go ahead and circle that pair of 4s. And then if we come up here, we could bring that pair of 4s out. Then there's a 2 left underneath, so 2. And then we've got the plus or minus 6. So that's the two possibilities for x. All right, let's use this to find x-intercepts. So this is one of the strengths of completing the square, is that it allows us to be able to find x-intercepts. So if you think about on a graph, when we have a parabola, that parabola is going to cross the x-axis at two different places. And so we're going to have two places where it'll cross this x-axis right here. Now the y value of any point on the x-axis is 0. So if we take this equation here and plug in 0 for y, then we can complete the square in order to find the x values. So let's do just that. So we're going to, let's see, we want to get rid of this negative 16. So we're going to complete the square on x squared minus 10x. So this 16 is just going to get in our way. So let's move that over to the other side. And then we want to add something to the right side that will complete the square. And if we add it to the right side, then we've got to also add it to the left side. So to complete the square, we need to take half of negative 10, that's negative 5. Square it, we get 25. So we want to add 25 to both sides. Then on the right side, x squared minus 10x plus 25, that will factor to be x minus 5 squared. And on the left side, 25 minus 16 is 9. So then we take the square root of both sides to solve. And that becomes plus or minus the square root of 9 is 3 equals x minus 5. So the two equations we have here are positive 3 is equal to x minus 5, or negative 3 is equal to x minus 5. Solve these both by adding 5 to both sides. We get 8 for one of the answers and 2 for the other answer. So again, we got these when we plugged in 0 for y. So really, these are the coordinate points 8, 0 and 2, 0, because these are x values that came from getting a y value of 0. So we could plot these on the graph. 8, 0 is right here. And then 2, 0 is right here. Well, now that we know the x-intercepts, we could find the line of reflection just by going halfway between them. So halfway between 8 and 2, well, we could average, so we could do 8 plus 2 divided by 2, that's 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So we've got the line of reflection down here. And then we could plug in that x value in order to get the y value of the vertex. So we know the vertex has got to be somewhere along that line. So if we want to know the y value of the vertex, let's just plug in 2. So we get 2 squared minus 10 times 2 plus 16. Work that out, and you should get negative 9. So that's the coordinate point, let's see, 5, negative 9, which would be right here. And then you could plug in some other points and get them, but the point of this is that you can find the x-intercepts of the graph by completing the square.